Hi, Shabbat Shalom. This week we're broadcasting on location at Beth Hillel congregation. And we're going to be reading the story of Joseph this week, one of the best loved of all biblical stories for Jew and Gentile alike. What I want to focus on this Shabbat is the issue of clothing and how that issue of clothing relates to Adam, the first man. Well before Donny Osmond made Joseph and his Technicolor Dreamcoat a reality on stages across the world, Joseph has the distinction of having the most wardrobe changes of any biblical figure. Esther has one wardrobe change. Even Aaron, the high priest, only has two. But the stories of Joseph revolve around clothing. Think about it. Jacob gives Joseph a special tunic. That tunic is going to have a significant impact on the story of Joseph's life. That same tunic is going to be used by the brothers, bloodied, to prove Joseph's death. When Joseph goes down to Potiphar's and his wife wants to have a relationship with him, she grabs onto his clothing and tears it. Again, clothing plays a role. Now in the dungeon, Joseph gets the call from Pharaoh. The Torah is very specific about the fact that Joseph has to change his clothes and leave his prison garb behind. And finally, when Joseph is elevated to the vizier role of Egypt, the Pharaoh gives him the clothing of royalty. And that set of clothing is going to help Joseph disguise himself from his brothers. Now, what does all of this have to do with Adam? Well, you'll recall that when Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, they had only one commandment to keep, and that was to not eat the fruit of the tree, which of course they did. When God comes down to the garden, the Torah records Adam coming to terms with his own nakedness. What I want to suggest to you is that what Adam is dealing with is his own shame. The nakedness that he feels is not a physical nakedness, but a spiritual nakedness. At the end of the story, God makes Adam and Eve a katonet, makes them a tunic made of leather, of animal skins. This is understood by our rabbinic tradition as an act of great mercy. But if you think about it, it is also a moment when Adam and God come together again, and God is clothing him not only physically, but because there is now a rapprochement between the two, God is also creating a garment for his soul. Joseph is in effect the very opposite of Adam. Joseph is secure with his faith in God. He dutifully reports his dreams that the Torah understands as come from God. Joseph also, whenever approached, either by Potiphar's wife or by Pharaoh, always acknowledges God. In Potiphar's wife's case, the whole moral issue is attributed to God. And with Pharaoh, Joseph understands that God is the source of his ability to interpret dreams. The outer garments, the garments of Joseph's body, come from all kinds of sources. But his soul needs no garment. It is pure within itself and very much connected to God. In short, the focus of clothing in the case of Joseph at the end of the book of Genesis is a way of telling us that Joseph is the completion of Adam. Joseph is the one who will prepare our people to not only go down in Egypt and begin the redemptive process, but when this people will go to the land of Israel, they will build a Mishkan. They will build a place where God can dwell, an indwelling place for God. In short, the Mishkan in the land of Israel will become a new Garden of Eden, where God will dwell, and the priest will dress in priestly garments. Joseph is the bridge to that. Without a new Adam, without a person who can take us forward in the proper way, that journey could not have taken place. Joseph is not only the key to the redemptive process, but as the book of Genesis begins to come to an end, the focus on clothing is a reminder that Joseph is the bridge to a new beginning for the Jewish people, Adam fulfilled. Shabbat Shalom.